Okay, in this tutorial, we're going to create a mashup between an orange and a tiger's mouth. So the first thing you want to do is open up your two files. I've got an orange here, and I've deliberately got a PNG file so that I wouldn't have to erase the background. And then I got a tiger's mouth. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, the second thing, we're going to create a new file. So File, New, and you can just call this Fruit Tiger. And let's make it 10 inches by 10 inches. Okay, so let's go to the orange first. Click on our Move tool, and we'll move it over to our file. Just going to stick it over here on the left. Okay, and then we're going to go to our tiger. And let's just lasso kind of what we need. So the only thing I'm going to need really is the mouth. So I'm just going to lasso. You want to get the fur too, I guess. And then I'm going to grab my Move tool. I'm going to drag it over to my Fruit Tiger layer. And I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to change the opacity to see how big I need this thing. And it looks like it's a pretty good size right now. Okay, I'm going to increase the opacity back up to 100%. Okay, so on layer 2, or the layer that has the tiger, let's go ahead and start selecting the background so that we can put a mask on it. So I'm going to click on my Quick Selection tool, make sure it's on the plus sign. This might be challenging. Whoops. Alright. I want his tongue and I want the fangs there. I want a good bit of his little beard. Okay. And then I'm going to put a mask on. So I'm going to click down here to add the layer mask. Of course, it masked everything I didn't want it to. So I'm going to Control I, which will invert the mask. Oh, and it looks like I've got some outlines. So I'm just going to go to the mask. I'm going to get my black paintbrush. And I'm just going to start coloring here. This line. And what I also want to do is, while I'm here, let's get a very fuzzy brush and make it pretty big, maybe 500. I want to start kind of blending the edges in with the orange. Okay, if you mess up, obviously you can just change this, back to a white paintbrush and paint some more back in. But for now, it looks okay. But what I do want to do is move it out just a little bit. Okay, let me get my black paintbrush again, because now I don't think I really want. I'm going to make my brush smaller. I don't really want so much of this fur. Okay, now what we need to do is go to the orange layer, and we will put a mask on it. Okay, and then we're going to erase. So with your black paintbrush, you're just going to erase the orange that's showing through back here. Okay, it looks pretty good so far. So now what we want to do is use the Puppet Warp tool. This is something you've not used yet. We're going to do it on the orange layer. So let me show you how the Puppet Warp tool works. go to your orange. Make sure that you haven't selected just the layer mask. You want the orange itself. You're going to go to File. No, you're not. You're going to go to Edit, and then you're going to go to Puppet Warp. Alright, all these little grids here are things that you can change. So let me just show you how it works. If I clicked and dragged, it would move it all around. If I click one time, it's going to put kind of an anchor there. That means I don't want this to move. And let's say I've got an anchor there. So if I click and drag here, I can move this all around, but the 3 anchor spots are not going to move. Alright, let me just undo that. So let me start over. I'm going to go to Edit, Puppet Warp. And we're going to kind of put some anchors around the edges on this side. And what we want to do is kind of bring the orange out more or less to meet the gums here. And it makes kind of a funky little thing, so I'm just going to pull it down a little bit here. You can warp this however you want. Alright. Let's see how this works. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. And now I've warped this out, and I'm probably going to have to go back to the layer mask and paint some more, because now there's orange showing up back here and a little right in there that I didn't want to show up. Okay, we're almost finished, but not quite. I feel like I've got something showing right there. Okay, the very last thing we want to do is get some of this orange peel onto the tiger mouth so that it looks more like it's a real mouth or an orange mouth coming out. Okay, we're going to use this thing called the, what is it called? The clone stamp tool. And what the clone stamp tool does is it basically copies something and places it somewhere else. So what we're going to do is we're going to be copying parts of this orange layer, and we're going to put it on a blank layer. Let's go ahead and make a blank layer. And I'm going to put it above layer 2, or above the tiger mouth. So we're going to go back to the orange layer. What you want to do is hold down Alt in order to copy. Whoops. Once you hold down Alt and you click, it basically copies that. So now we're going to go to the blank layer. And it also copies the location. So now when I'm painting, I'm going to have to do it a couple more times. It kind of goes along with it. Don't worry if you get inside the mouth or outside the lines, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Whoops, let me copy this. Since we're doing it on this blank layer here, we're going to be able to erase some things. Whoops. You might have to continue to sample. Ah, stop. Good grief. Alright. Now what we can do is we're going to lower the opacity of this blank layer. Now we can see where the teeth and everything are supposed to be. So while I'm on the blank layer, I'm going to put a mask on. And I'm just going to paint black everywhere I didn't want that orange. So I'm probably going to make my brush smaller and not fuzzy, because I don't want it anywhere on these teeth, right? Or on the inside of his mouth. Or on the outside right here. On the gums. So you basically don't want it anywhere that they're in fur. Oops, I messed up. If you mess up, it's not a big deal because you can just paint it back in. Alright, let's check it out. Ooh, that looks rough. Alright, let me just paint some more black. And then I am going to get a fuzzy paintbrush. And you know what? One more thing. Let's change the opacity of that orange layer down a little bit so that some of the fur kind of shows through. Some of the texture shows through. Alright. When you get done, you should have something that looks pretty much like a tiger's mouth in an orange. I'm going to have to clean up right around here so that there's not, whoops, these lines. But we'll see how yours looks. So when you're done, I want you to do this, and then I want you to create your own.